Chapter 1. The First Infallible. The Holy Prophet of Islam. Muhammad ibn Abdullah, peace be on him and his progeny. The Holy Prophet said, "The first thing God created was my nur, light. The oldest and noblest tribe in the whole of Arabia was Banu Hashim. They were the descendants of Ibrahim through his son Ismail. The Arabs respected and loved them for their goodness, knowledge and bravery. Abdul Muttalib was the chieftain of Banu Hashim, and Li was also the guardian of the Kaaba. Among his 10 sons, Abdullah was the father of the Holy Prophet, and Abu Talib was the father of Ali. In Mecca, baby boy Muhammad was born on 17th Rabi al-Awwal, 570 AD. His father Abdullah, son of Abdul Muttalib, died before he was born, and when he was 6, he lost his loving mother Amina. His grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, took the responsibility of bringing up the orphan. At the age of 10, he was bereft of his venerable grandfather. On his deathbed, he appointed his son Abu Talib as the guardian of Muhammad. Gentle, soft-spoken, tall and handsome boy, Muhammad accompanied the trading caravans of Abu Talib across the deserts, giving him deep insight into nature and man. In his youth, Muhammad participated in Hilf, Confederation of Al-Fudul, for helping the widows and orphans and protecting the oppressed. The wealthy noble widowed lady Khadijah, looking for a manager for her rich mercantile caravans, selects Muhammad, the trustee, able and fair dealing. Muhammad is a tremendous success. Khadijah, already an admirer, made him an offer of marriage. Muhammad was 25 and Khadijah 40. In spite of this disparity in age, the marriage proved to be a very happy one. The Prophet, lover of nature and quite worried about human sufferings, Muhammad very often retired to Mount Hira for meditations. One night, Laylatul Qadr, the night of majesty, a voice addressing him commanded, "Recite in the name of thy Lord." Surah Al-Alaq 96.1. Deeply excited by the strange phenomena of divine visitation, Muhammad hurried home to his wife, Khadijah, who listened to him attentively and said that, "I bear witness that you are the apostle of God." After an interval, the voice from heaven spoke again, "O thou shrouded in thy mantle, arise, and warn, and magnify thy Lord." Surah Al-Mudaththir 74.1–3. This was a signal for him to start preaching the gospel of truth of one God. In the beginning, Muhammad invited only those near him to accept the new faith. The first to embrace Islam among women was Khadijah, and among men Imam Ali. Muhammad now decided to appeal publicly to the Quraysh to give up idol worship and embrace Islam. Muhammad is the founder of the great religion of Islam, meaning submitting oneself or one's person to Allah. The adherent of Islam is usually designated by the corresponding adjective Muslim. The keepers of Kaaba and owners of the idols came to Abu Talib to stop Muhammad from saying, "There is no God but Allah." The guardian uncle conveyed the request of the delegation to give Muhammad fortune larger than possessed by any, to make him a chief and even a king, if he agreed to give up his mission. Muhammad refused. Angry Arab chieftains threatened social boycott, destruction and death. Abu Talib promised to defend Muhammad. Almost 10 years of hard work and preaching, in spite of all persecution, produced over 100 followers. Physical cruelties and social boycott made life unbearable in Mecca. The Holy Prophet of Islam advised his followers to seek refuge in the neighboring country of Ethiopia. 88 men and 18 women sailed to the hospitable shores of the Negus. Under the leadership of Jafar at-Tayr, brother of Ali, and the cousin of the Holy Prophet. Arab chieftains pursued them and demanded their extradition. Almost 10 years of hard work and preaching, in spite of all persecution, produced over 100 followers. Physical cruelties and social boycott made life unbearable in Mecca. The Holy Prophet of Islam advised his followers to seek refuge in the neighboring country of Ethiopia. 88 men and 18 women sailed to the hospitable shores of the Negus. Under the leadership of Jafar at-Tayr, brother of Ali, and the cousin of the Holy Prophet. Arab chieftains pursued them and demanded their extradition. In a period of troubles, trials and tribulations, two major tragedies afflicted Muhammad. First, the venerable guardian uncle Abu Talib died, and shortly afterwards his noble wife Khadijah died, leaving behind her daughter Fatima, peace be on her, the only child she had from the Holy Prophet, the daughter who looked after her father so much so that the Prophet called her Abiha, the mother of her father. With the death of the old patriarch Abu Talib, the Meccans planned to assassinate the Prophet. Under divine guidance, he asked Ali to sleep in his bed, and Muhammad put his green garment on Ali, while the murderers mistook Ali for Muhammad. The Holy Prophet of Islam escaped to Medina. Abu Sufyan, the famous long-lived enemy of Islam, again attacked the Muslims at Uhud. Hamza, the first flag-bearer of Islam and uncle of the Prophet, was killed in action, in spite of strict instructions from the Prophet. A few Muslim soldiers deserted their post when victory was in sight. In the 10th year a Christian deputation from Najran came to the Prophet at Medina for religious discussions. Even after convincing arguments, the Christians refused to believe because they were not willing to give up their religion for the religion of Islam. Muhammad suggested that next morning that the Christians should bring their women, sons and near ones, and the Prophet would bring his. And they should pray, to invoke the curse of God on the liars, in order to end the argument. At dawn Muhammad entered the Maidan field with his grandsons, leading Hassan by the hand, carrying Hussein in his arms, his beloved daughter Fatima following him, and Ali walking behind her, with the banner of Islam. The Christians, watching this procession from far, came to the conclusion that Muhammad was the true prophet of God, for he had brought with him his dearest and nearest ones. The Christians came to the Prophet and informed him that they were not willing to pray for the curse on the liars. Instead they were willing to pay the jizya, poll tax or tithes payable by non-Muslims in the realm of Islam, and to come to a settlement. The Prophet referred them to Ali for terms. The harassment and murders by the Jews forced the Prophet into leading an army against Khaybar in the 7th year The Muslims under the command of Umar and others turned back and were in despair. The Prophet said, "Tomorrow I shall assign the command of the Muslim force to a person who will be crowned by God with victory." The daybreak saw the Islamic banner waving gallantly in the hand of Ali. The fateful battle began with Jewish champion warrior Marhab, with soul-stirring shout of Allahu Akbar. The Dufakar sword Ali descended on Marhab, piercing his skull. In the general encounter that followed, the Jews were defeated. The great victory of Islam was won and made Ali the immortal conqueror of Khaybar. A great number of Muslim soldiers were killed in battles at Badr, Uhud, Khaybar, Hunain and other places, leaving behind young wives and children. The serious problem of taking care of the widows and orphans threatened to break up the moral fabric of the Muslim society. Muhammad decided to marry these widows and set an example for his followers to do likewise. Though a prophet and a king, Muhammad was the man of the common people. He sat and ate with them, shared their joys and sorrows, helped the weak, widows and orphans and sympathized with the distressed. He found the world sunk deep in degrading ignorance, superstition, vice and cruelty, though the Holy Prophet was occupied in looking after the affairs of people. But he used to pay special attention to his family too. Some believers requested him to allow them to buy lands and build houses for him. The reply was revealed by God. Say, I do not ask of you any reward, but love for my relatives. Surely Allah is forgiving, grateful. Surah Ash-Shura 42.23. Thereupon, the believers asked the Prophet whose love was made incumbent on them. Muhammad answered, love for Ali, Fatima, Hassan and Hussein. Under the divine intuition of his approaching end, Muhammad prepared to make the farewell pilgrimage to Mecca. Before completing all the ceremonies of Hajj, he addressed a huge multitude from the top of Mount Arafat on 8th Dhul-Hijjah, 11 after Hijri, in words which shall ever ring and live in the atmosphere. Soon after finishing the Hajj, the Holy Prophet started for Medina. On his way, at Ghadir Qum, the voice from heaven cried, O Apostle! Deliver what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and if you do it not, then you have not delivered his message, and Allah will protect you from the people. Surely Allah will not guide the unbelieving people. Surah Maida 5:67. Muhammad immediately ordered Bilal to recall the Muslims who had gone ahead, who were behind and who were proceeding to their homes at the junction, to assemble. O Allah, love him who loves Ali, and be the enemy of Ali. Help him who helps Ali, and forsake him who forsakes Ali. On Muhammad's return to Medina, he got busy settling the organization of the provinces and the tribes which had adopted Islam. His strength rapidly failed, and the poison administered at Khaybar by a Jewess took its deadly toll. So ended the life dedicated to the service of God and humanity from first to last. On 28th Safar, 11 after Hijri, there is no God but one God, and Muhammad is the Apostle of God. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and his descendants. The lives of Muhammad and Ali are so interwoven that one cannot think, read or write without mentioning both. Imam Ali said, Muhammad is the last of all the prophets. There shall be no prophet after him. Revelation came to an end on his passing away. The sons of the Holy Prophet are the best sons, and his Ala al-Bayt are the best Ala al-Bayt. Follow your apostolic imams. End of chapter 1.